A roadside memorial that's painfully close to home. Justine Connolly was crossing the road yards from her house in Milton Keynes when she was hit by a car. Justine spent 5 days in an induced coma at the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford, but last Wednesday morning she died, a day after her 18th birthday. And although they're now preparing for a funeral instead of an 18th birthday party, Justine's family are determined to celebrate her life. Sarah Cooper, ITV News, Milton Keynes.
Somebody above me's in a desperate state. Some kind of urgency, the kind that won't wait. I say tomorrow, he say today, and the man in my head, well, he tell me no way. Get working. I got 8 little fingers and only 2 thumbs. Will you leave me in peace while I get the job done? Can't you see I'm working? I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Well, they're coming from above me and they're coming from below. They're in there right behind me everywhere that I go. My buddy's screaming down the telephone line and say, gimme, gimme, gimme. Say I ain't got the time, no. Oh no, can't you see I'm working? Yeah. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Can't you see I'm working on it? I'm working on it.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's special episode of Rocketry Unleashed. I'm your host, Faulkner, and this is almost undoubtedly going to be the most difficult episode for me. That introduction there was pretty much all you need to know about this episode. After the funeral, I came home, and one thing that's common with me is that if I need to take my mind off something, I'll go to my dad's workshop and I'll build something. It can be something totally random, but I'll build something. This one time I was scrounging around, I found a PVC pipe, and something instantly formed in my head, a rocket. And I decided that what I was going to do was I was going to build a rocket in Justine's memory. The finished product stands behind me today. This is Justine 1.0. This is the very first model of Justine which is going to fly today. It's worth noting though that the Justine Rocket Project is not just going to look like this. Oh no, we're updating the nose cone, we're probably going to update the fins at some point. The parachute deployment system at this point is very, very simple, and to be honest, it's fairly terrible as well. But today we are just going to do the test launches to see if the principle of the Justine rocket can actually work. Can she actually fly? Alright, they're all done. All we need to do now is wire it up and launch it. Let's try that. Let's see how that looks.
3, 2, 1, fire!
Useless! Ah! Alright, we're back. So, basically here's what we've changed. Number 1, the launch pad. Turns out the problem lay in a piece of wiring which I bought and had shipped across from America. Unfortunately, it failed for some weird reason, so I threw it away. Useless! Like that. So we're going to change things up a bit. What we've done, we've taken the design of the special piece of wiring from America and we've effectively put it on the launch pad. I built it in around 90 minutes, didn't cost me a penny, and I sort of wish I'd done it before I bought the piece of wiring. Oh well. All 4 igniters which I needed to ignite the rockets ignited, and all 4 rockets on the Justine rocket are going to fire in quick succession, and that's going to mean that the rocket can get off the launch pad quickly, which is what we want. The second thing that we're changing is, instead of using the remote wireless system, we're actually giving the Justine rocket direct power from a mains feed. Why? Last time the wireless firing system was sort of a bit faulty because it was low on power, so I don't want there to be that problem, so I'm removing it from the equation for the test flight. But anyway, I've done enough babbling. You've seen how the rocket's been built, you've seen how all the things have been customized specifically for the rocket, and you're seeing how we're going to ignite it and what she's running on. It's now time to actually put all of that together and see how she fares. Justine Rocket! Fire in the hole! 3, 2... Yes! Yes! No! Ah! No! The parachute! Ah! No! Yes! Yes! 2, go! Yes! 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 She's flown, she's landed. Now time for a damage inspection. The first thing is that an engine mount was torn off by the impact. Here it is. Not too badly damaged. Parachute was torn off by the engines. I can only imagine that it was encountering so much wind resistance that it just simply shredded from the rocket. Here we go. So that confirms, ladies and gentlemen, that the rocket effectively is still in one piece. What we're going to do, we're going to move everything back to the launch pad and then we're going to wrap up this video. One thing that I've noticed, ladies and gentlemen, is the scorch marks, and actually they tell me a lot about what the rocket did upon takeoff. In the very first stages of firing up, the rocket can sway left and right and then it can change trajectory, and that's exactly what happened here, and it shows you why you need a guide rail. I looked at this in another episode of Rocketry Unleashed where I launched a rocket without a guide rail and it leaned over to the side as it took off. However, with Justine, because she's a much bigger rocket, the effect was more profound. What happened was, you can see here that 2 engines fired first, and then we've got some smaller scorch marks on this side, which means that these 2 engines fired up first, the Justine rocket leaned over, then these 2 engines fired up, and that meant that the rocket carried on its trajectory. Rocket science. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, conclusion time. Justine's test launch, what can we take away? Well, here's what we can take away. The first thing that we can take away is that the launch pad needs a guide rail, because Justine flew into the launch field which lies beyond those trees behind me. The second thing that we can take away is that the parachute system obviously needs work, because the parachute, as you can see from the onboard, tore away and I still don't know where it is. Thirdly, The engine mounts need to be secured to the rocket better. They are sort of waving about on board the rocket, and then one actually came off upon impact with the floor. But the main thing that we can take away is this. If we take my hobby of rocketry and we turn it into a crown, that front jewel is definitely Justine here. Because even though the launch wasn't perfect and there is room for improvement, she is my greatest success with rocketry so far, which I think is such a fitting tribute for Justine in real life. The simulator which I used was telling me all the time, she's gonna crash, she won't get off the ground, she's gonna fall over, she's gonna do this, she's gonna do that, she won't fly. Now, even though the landing wasn't perfect, she flew, which goes against everything I was told right up till now when she actually flew. And that's what makes this my best experiment yet, ladies and gentlemen. A rocket which wasn't really meant to fly has flown in the name of Justine. But until I figure out where this project could go, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to wrap up the video. So thank you very much for watching. I was your host and the leader of the Justine Rocket Project, Faulkner. Thank you so much for keeping up with the project and for showing all your support. And as always, I will see you next time. Thank you so much. And on that note, we are finished. I still can't believe she flew. It blows my mind.